Hello everyone, I'm Aaron from the Know-How, and today we are going to do a simple exercise. Okay, I have a model over here from Sketchup. Okay, what we are going to do is we are going to import this model into Sketchup, and we are going to go through how do you apply the correct materials so that you are able to do the cutting after that. Okay, so I'm just going to minimize this. So over here, once we have this, we'll go to File. We do import skp file. Okay, we have on my desktop, we have the TV cabinet over here. We say set to origin. So over here, you will find that something is wrong because if I were to zoom in, you will see that my panel is 0.59. What happens is SketchUp exports it in inches. Okay, so what you need to do, simply at the bottom, go to inch and say 1 mm is 1 inch. So nothing should change. And now go back to mm, but this time choose 1 inch to 25.4 mm. So once you have done that, if I were to press Ctrl T, you see that the measurement is 15, which is what we want. Next, we are going to delete all the architectural areas. So I just right click delete, and we are just going to select this, done. And then of course we are going to delete the TV. Okay, so once we are done, we notice that in this SketchUp file, there is no name, but everything is grouped. So what do I mean by that? If I were to explode the model and select everything, instead of dragging this sliding bar, I would just press 250. So now you can see the models explodes. But this is not what we want because I want it to retain its group. So I come back to explode again. And instead of clicking 250, I click 40. Okay, and then next we explode again, but this time we say treat the groups together. So if you notice, the groups are stays with one another. Okay, so what happens is that for this, the user actually put the glass here, and for the other facades, the doors are outside of the main assembly. Okay, so what can you do now to process this in PYTHA? So the first thing that we are going to do is to apply a material. So we are going to apply a material. So what am I going to do now is that over in SketchUp, we'll see that, okay, the internal is some PVC color. So we are just going to attributes material palette. And over here, I'm just going to select plywood. Okay, and maybe for this plywood settings, I use a material color, which is maybe a maple color. And I say that everything inside is PVC. Everything outside is empty. I press OK, save the settings, and this time I'm just going to select all the boxes. So over here you can see the entire box I'm going to highlight. So once I'm done, I press enter. So immediately the properties are applied. Next, I'm going to go to a new property, and I'm going to call this glass. Okay, the core material is going to be glass. And the material, I'm just going to browse to PYTHA various and apply a glass. Okay, there's no face coating, done. And how do I do this glass? I'm just going to select, because I know my glass is about 9 mm. Okay, so I'm just going to say equal thickness, and I'm going to select 9. Okay, sorry, I think it's 8, so equal thickness again 8 mm. So the glass is selected, enter. So immediately you can see that the glass have been saved. Okay, so you can see that the glass is all black, and we are done. So next over here, we can see that there are some doors that are different color, and the external cladding and the internal here. So next, what we are going to do, okay, we are just going to apply a laminate, because we know that these are glass. So actually these are not PVC, these are laminate on the internal. So how am I going to do that? I'm just going to go to attributes again and go to material palette, and this time I'm just going to choose a maybe plywood, and I'm going to say plywood with a laminate on one side. Okay. So the core material is still plywood. Okay, and maybe this time I know that the laminate is something darker. Okay, so if we look at my picture, the laminate inside is something darker. So what we are going to do is PYTHA wood, and instead of maple, I'm just going to choose oak lime. And I'm going to say the inside, okay, the inside is going to be laminate, and the outside is just going to be empty. So I press OK, and this time, okay, I'm just going to select the cabinet to. Okay, so once I'm done with this, and then I'm just going to select over here. But what am I going to do next is I'm just going to unselect the glass so that the glass doesn't change, and done. So you can see that this changes color. Okay, so these are all to the darker color. Over here, if I notice that my glass has been affected, so I just go back to glass. Okay, just here, done. Okay, so we have applied the material for the external. Next, this surrounding is also a laminate and the other side is raw. So what I'm going to do now, okay, so over here, let me just check the group structure. Okay, for this, okay, is in a major group over here. So I'm just going to handle this now. So I'm just going to say attributes, materials again, and this time I'm just going to do plywood laminate. Everything on the inside is empty, everything on the outside is a laminate, and I'm just going to apply it. 1, 2, 3, 4, enter. And I'm just going to apply the same thing but on the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, enter. Okay, so over here you can see that I have some panels that are mounted wrongly, so I'm just going to delete. Okay, and we are good. So sorry, delete. 1, 2, 3, and we are good. So now we have the doors. Okay, and how we are going to do this next is we are going to explode it back. So I'm going to say explode, going to select everything, and I say 40%. So now we have this back again, and now with the color I can see that the big doors, okay, are really kind of a stone laminate. So we can say attributes, materials again. This time I can create a new material, okay, and I say plywood laminate 1. Okay, same thing, plywood. Okay, but the laminate color, I'm just going to choose it to be something of a stone texture like this. Okay, so over here I have this material texture. I'm just going to use maybe this, something like a sand, and I'm going to say that the inside of this block plywood is a PVC and the outside is a laminate. Okay, so what happens here, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, enter. Once we are done, okay, I'm just going to use this same properties, but I'm going to go something darker. Okay, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, done. Okay, so we are done. And actually right now, if I want to do a quick rendering and see how it looks like, so we just need to go to ray trace view, and you can see that on my model, PYTHA does the rough rendering, and you see the glass. Now you can see inside. Okay, so once we are done with this illustration, okay, I'm just going to off the ray tracer. We can go to our part list. So over in our part list, we can select everything, but you will notice that the parts have no name. Okay, so I need to go through the naming of this object. But you can see actually that the core material are all labeled for you with the plywood. So if I were to zoom in, okay, on one of this, so maybe let me do this, okay, only this part visible. And if I were to go to attributes dialog, okay, you are going to see that the face code is PVC. Okay, so this allows you to play around and with the model. And the good thing about importing is that you still have that flexibility of PYTHA, where I can just simply extend or reduce the shape. So this is, let's say if a designer is giving you a SketchUp file, this is how you reverse engineer it and create a proper file for production. Of course, we can go to workshops to add the hinges, and PYTHA is able to do the optimization automatically and lets you know how many boards you're using. For those who are going to the panel saw, just do your part list, do a new part list, all parts, and select the default template, for example, to cut right. Okay, so this is how you process the job. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.